So, back in, say, August of 2009, when the far right wingnuts had taken over the Tea Party and then used that as a platform of legitimacy to take over the Republican Party, um, I said they're all just shilling. There's some kind of fucking shady payment thing going on here, and all of these people are getting paid to do what they're doing. And they're rallying up a bunch of racists, and the rest of the crowd is basically paid actors. You know, kind of like at the first few Trump rallies. You had to fill it in with actors until enough people got onto the bandwagon effect. You know, bandwagon effect. That thing that Google doesn't allow me to have. Hmm. See what a bandwagon effect is, if you're not familiar. It's basically a sociological term for when a crowd is seen watching something, doing something that makes the individual more likely to do it and join in the crowd. So, the reason for suppressing my views, for instance, and removing my views, okay, it's not just a mechanism of financial censorship. It keeps me from getting my voice heard because the higher the number on a video of mine, the more likely it is you're going to click. So if they can lower the numbers, they can lower the likelihood that anybody clicks my videos ever. Now, one of the things that the far right has been shilling about while completely being hypocritical is censorship. And in the depths of their depravity and what needs to be investigated and proven is that they colluded with censorship of the American people by a foreign power. The Article 1 of their treason doctrine was suppression of your First Amendment rights if you don't like them. Now, it is quite possible to put actually quite easy to put a relative value on the content on this channel. It is quite easy to do some investigating and see how many people are allowed to target Americans by YouTube who are not Americans. It's quite easy to see which Americans are being suppressed. Quite easy. Simple matter of cross-referencing emails. My email, for instance, can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that Google has no basis for censoring this account. They will make the legal argument that they somehow accidentally mistook me for a bot-generated troll account, as if the software exists to make this video right now. I'm sure you can come pretty close, man, but not quite. Quite frankly, my gestures are a little too awkward to have been modeled. And my face is a bit too expressive. Oh, look, wait. Am I like morphing into an Illuminati demon? Or am I just being a spastic retard? Anyway. So, there's going to be and there needs to be when I say going to be, it's basically, I'm saying this needs to happen or we're all fucked. Yeah. There needs to be. A Supreme Court case on free speech regarding this 2016 election cycle. The simple fact of the matter is, this is a lot bigger than the Trump campaign's collusion with Russia in order to gain power and, make money off of emoluments. This is about an ongoing destabilization effort that has persisted in this country since the 1960s and has been unabated throughout the entire time period in which our official and comprehensive standpoint was that the Cold War was over. I mean, you can speculate all you want about whether you know what somebody said is true, okay? Or you can look at the logistical and strategic implications of actual events, okay? Now, the reason I know that we actually thought the Cold War was over is because we changed our military posture. We reduced our ability to fight anyone resembling Russia. That's really the real reason why we haven't gone after North Korea, is because we fucking can't. Because they would kick our fucking asses. Okay? We haven't been able to do that since we invaded Iraq. Okay? Now bear in mind, it would have been 10 times harder to invade North Korea than it would have been to invade Iraq and Afghanistan combined. Okay? You're looking at like a similar scenario to when we went to France. That's a bloodbath waiting to happen. But Russia has never lost their influence with North Korea. When you think of the Soviet Union and you think of its collapse, understand that North Korea, as a part of the Soviet Union, never collapsed. Okay? They have been continually supplied, and we have been continually bullshitted about it. Oh, that Soviet scientist isn't still working for the Soviet government. Okay. Just think of what you're fucking saying there. You're saying that the Russian Federation let one of their top nuclear scientists defect to a rogue state that they have no control over, and somehow have not yet assassinated him in 45 years. Which is like how long he's been. He's been there a long time, apparently. If it's the guy I think of. This guy's been there helping them try to develop nukes this whole time we've been hearing about this fucking story of them. So it's been like 30 years at least. Okay. Y'all know how uncomfortable I get when I say something and I think it might be wrong. I'm like, wait, no, wait, no, 45. Is that right? Oh, that's not right. Might be right. Could be right. Probably is right. But I don't have the data. I'm going to say at least 30 years based on my memory and not assume that I remember that thing that's just really fuzzy. Anyways, because unlike Donald Trump and friends, I don't bullshit people. What a concept. Isn't it? It's funny, the fact that I don't bullshit people is at the same time the reason why my channel should have value, should be algorithmically enhanced, but it's actually why it's algorithmically suppressed. Because I don't bullshit people. Sorry. So, back to the freedom of speech thing. The the fraud investigation that's going on right now is going to mutate into excuse you know people, you little evil fuckers, like the trolls that watch this channel that report to the fucking you know owners. They're essentially cyber terrorists. Yeah. But some of them are still human beings, and most of them don't have any choice. Now, I have limited my contact with several people because I don't want to put them in any danger. Okay. And I think the regular viewers can all guess who one of them is. And some of my regular viewers know who they are as well. But if the Congress would like to say, defend the country, what a concept. What they need to do is understand what's actually been going on, not on a level that a corporate executive will admit to them. They need to interview some Russian trolls. They need to interview some hackers. Hell, it wouldn't hurt if they just interviewed, the one IT guy who's been tracking this shit for 20 years. But I gotta sit here and be compared with absolute fucking morons like Lord Stephen Christ. Because why? Because I thought that as an American, I could use my IT knowledge to give myself a little bit of an advantage, and that YouTube, being a part of Google Incorporated, a so called American corporation, would not suppress my free speech and might, being as they were supposed to be an American corporation, might even assist my efforts in taking on what they can algorithmically prove. I mean, just through basic analysis, IP addresses, MAC addresses, just simple identification factors, are foreigners pretending to be Americans, spreading unified propaganda messages. Now, those unified propaganda messages are even easier to pick up. Like, oh my god, fucking, it's already programmed right into AdWords, for fuck's sake. All you need to do is subpoena it. But they're going to tell you, oh, we mistook people like me for a bot. Okay. The email address of mine that Google has on file, okay, not just my Gmail address that has existed for, most of that time period, but the email address has been an active account since 1995. Okay? I have been on the internet with the same email addresses, plural, since 1995. Okay? In fact, the one that they have for backup, 94. Okay, I registered my first email accounts on AOL 2.0 on a Windows 95 beta before Windows 95 came out. Okay? My dad had this computer in his bedroom that was like so much nicer than mine. It had these giant fucking speakers on it. Like they were so awesome for back in the mid-90s. And he had finally come across an extra copy of the 95 beta for me to try. And I went and tried to load it and it wouldn't load. And I had to upgrade my RAM and my processor. So I upgraded to a 486 DX2 66 megahertz. 66 megahertz. And a CD-ROM 4X drive, I think it was. Maybe just a 2X, I don't know. And I think I upgraded. I'm just kind of guessing. I don't really remember, but I think I upgraded from like 4 megs to 16 megs or something like that, or from 8 megs to 16 megs maybe. I hadn't yet learned about video cards. I didn't upgrade the video card, but I upgraded the processor and the RAM, and I added a CD-ROM. I remember that. I don't know if I added a hard drive at that point, but I remember that was the first time I had to do the master slave thing with the little jumper pin on the back. But anyway, oh boy, the Grammys. Fucking late shows have been kind of going off. Rachel Maddow was on Seth Meyers last night. And as usual, the Rachel Maddow from last night, pretty awesome. Russia has us arguing over former CIA director, deputy director, has us arguing over the truth. Yeah, very well, very properly analyzed. That's on MSNBC. It looks like it was the 11th hour with Brian Williams. But Fox News. See, I'm not getting any Fox Newsies showing up right now. It hasn't showed up since I fucking mentioned it the other day. Huh. Active monitoring, active suppression. That's fucking amazing. I took a whole video of the live stream of how fucked up it was the other night. Including that person who could not be blocked. So that means they're a Google employee, right? If they can't be blocked. Hmm? Or they must be hacked into a Google employee's account, right? Yeah. That just seems to keep happening over and over and over again. They always come here. Fuck. Could it be that Google has foreign offices employing foreigners who don't like this country? Hmm. Well, they're financially liable for that because they have, traumatized a lot of fucking people, especially me. Especially me. Genuine fucking Cassandra complex, thanks to Google Incorporated. And it might be the deciding factor for me on whether or not I run for office. The fact that they fucking need an IT guy with enough experience and geostrategic awareness. Just the fact that I understand this on the computer level makes me think that I have to. It's funny, you know. I used to think that was just a small part of enhancement of my fate, and, being able to see things. And my my main reason for wanting to share. Oh, geez, sorry. Didn't mean to thumb half the fucking camera. My hand's kind of cramping. Well, like I usually do, but I keep on accidentally fucking ending the videos. Oh, oh, oh. Anyway, so I'm sorry my videos take too long if you just got no fucking time to listen to another human being actually talk who is in a fucking vain, self-editing, self-censoring moron. But this is the channel where you come for deep thought and well thought out opinions and conclusions either given with a grain of salt or based entirely on evidence and experience. I can't base a conclusion and say I'm certain just based on evidence or just based on experience. I'm that skeptical of an individual. Which is why I say I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I analyze other conspiracy theories with skepticism. And that, another good hobby for me to have been in. Another good practice for me to have undertook in this life. Seems like fate. Because at the point where I awoke and needed to get my bearings and figure out where the old enemy's capital is in relation to the new world map, and, you know, politics and history and geostrategy. Uh, I then had all the information I need to verify my instincts with evidence and experience. See, my experience was that there was a whole lot of people trying to blame the United States government for everything wrong in the world. Okay? Everything. And, like, you know, there's a different extreme story about why for every different fucking aspect of anything. Like, from aliens to the Illuminati. And what I realized, none of them ever want to hold Russia accountable in any way. And the people that teach history don't hold the Horde accountable in any way. And Russia, being the last cooperative part of the Horde that I remember, being in the same area at least, as the Golden Horde, which they all had white skin and golden hair, by the way. They certainly had a lot of gold. A lot of gold. They like to make, well, they like to do the same shit they do now with gold. Line their fucking buildings and shit with it. Well, I have fucking too many goddamn things in front of me. I could get distracted. And I'm looking at the time because I gotta go soon. That's not making it easier to concentrate. Ah. But anyway, we have to relate the history of the world in absence of what we've been taught by those who are trying to hide shit from us. I mean, we don't just need to go very heavy on a law that prevents free speech violations on the internet by Americans. I mean, by a foreign power against Americans. I mean, that should just be a just immediate fucking like treason investigation. Fuck's sake, that's conspiracy against the United States. Okay, you're coming after the American people with the assistance of a foreign power. That's conspiracy against the United States, for God's sake. But we need to look at our entire historical perspective as a nation while remembering the existence of major historical entities. Because if you look at both the online Shilliverse and its severe detachment from reality, and see how it doesn't mention Russia very much. Unfortunately, the same pattern applies mostly to our history books, documentaries, and the way things are taught in college. Even our maps, even the maps in our history books just kind of gray out the area to the north. We've been infiltrated and deceived as a society for a long time. Now, fact of the matter is, Russia and the Horde are essentially one. The Russian people are not, to blame for this. They were enslaved. But they need to stand up to this, or the world will be enslaved. But if the American people, if the rule of law doesn't stand up to this, how can we expect them to? We're just hypocritical fools to them right now. hypocritical fools to the whole world right now. And we will be until the traitors in this country go to jail. And the corporations who helped a foreign power violate my First Amendment rights and the rights of several others, many others, probably thousands, millions of others. They need to be held accountable. And you got this fraud investigation. Google is going to be caught up in that. It's focused on Twitter, according to the news reports right now. You can't investigate fake subscriber and view and follower shit without coming right here. It won't happen. And if it does, you can expect severe natural disasters. Now, I'm pretty sure at some point in this video, there's a point that I forgot to finish. I apologize. I made the mistake of actually sleeping for more than 4 hours last night, and I had a very vivid dream about my mother still being alive, and like decaying and wasting away. And I woke up at the point where I was holding her in her arms and like crying and saying, "If you weren't such a hard-headed bitch, I could have saved you." And I woke up just drenched in sweat. And I had to go out there and see the fucking speeders. First thing, fucking 5 o'clock in the morning, people fucking speeding their asses off down the road. And yesterday, my neighbor's cat, and I'm just picturing bloody cat face. That's Misha's mommy. Was Misha's. I was out there. I built a little coffin for that cat. She's so many of these cats' mothers. I felt like I needed to honor her. But I'm a little bit thrown off this morning, and I feel like I made genuine contact with my mother's soul last night. And then waking up this morning, I just got filled with regret. Because I genuinely, I blame myself for everything. I constantly look for something I could have done better that could have put me at a better standpoint to do this here, for instance. Like, what could I have done better? What choice did I make in my life that made me so, easy to ignore? A bunch of false arguments made against me. I don't even get a chance to respond to them. I don't even have a chance to speak sense to delusion while people point the finger and laugh. I say the word fuck. So does George Carlin. In fact, that lawsuit was already settled. I think I'm Jesus? No, I don't. I think you don't know what the word Jesus means. And I happen to believe that I'm a reincarnated being who was at that time a character you refer to as John the Baptist. but I happen to believe things differently than you. I have a religion, and I have a right to it. Google has no right to decide they don't like my religion, just as the United States government has no right to decide that they don't like my religion. There is a legal definition of a cult. Nothing of what I'm doing meets those requirements in any way. I am a person who knows their identity spiritually. And you are persecuting anyone who believes in reincarnation when you try to tell me who I am. And the fact of the matter is that if you want to get into whether or not I am who I say I am, I'd be more than happy to prove it to you. Now, if asked this question in a court of law, do you believe you're Jesus? Do you believe you're... I would simply reply with a question. Are you open-mindedly asking me to tell you whether or not I have a spiritual belief about myself in order to determine whether or not you believe it? Or are you simply trying to impugn and discredit me with your own foregone conclusion about who I am, something that you know nothing about? The fact of the matter is, I have gone out of my way to document things in a manner that precludes those arguments from really ever even happening, whether or not depending on whether or not I want them to. I've been planning out my court case since I made this channel. But anyways, once again, sorry about any things that I brought up and didn't complete the thought on. I gotta go. Thanks for watching, y'all. Click the like button.